Bortle here at the Heroes of Fantasy San Antonio Regional. Whoa! Introduce yourself and what you play, man.
Travis, Fain, got third place, and I played Pure Invoked.
Pure Invoked?
Yes.
My goodness. No shit alls, none of that.
No, you don't need it. Don't need Mech Knights, none of that shit.
You don't need Window, bro.
No, we don't.
Any notable matchups?
Use it up. I lost only to a hero player because I bricked twice, and played against 2 Spiral, 2 Dino, actually two Shadal Invoked, 1 Mech Knight Invoked, and then the hero dude.
Since you waxed everyone but the hero guy.
Yes, he didn't even have a side deck. He was crazy.
What luck, my goodness. Well, let's see this fight, bro.
So weird. All right, well, best card in the deck by far, the whole wing edition, Aleister. This card is insane. By itself, it's Macabre, and then if the Macabre lives, it turns into an OTK. It's so good. It by itself is an OTK most of the time. This alongside Mystic Mind is super easy to OTK people with Purgatrio. This card is ridiculous. You always want to see multiples of these to pump up the Purgatrio to kill him, stuff like that. This card is disgustingly good. So instead of playing like Mech Knights or the Shadal cards or anything like that, we just played hand trap. So we were on Gamma, Droll, Ash, DD Crow, Phantasme, and Nibiru.
Yo, it's been a while since I've seen all of these hand traps just slapped right here.
Yeah, so like the problem that most people have when they try to put hand traps on their deck is they only put, they can only put a couple of them because, your deck has to have an engine, and most engines are huge. Like, try to play Shadal Invoked and that deck's super tight. You try to play Spiral, the deck's pretty tight. You can't fit like all these cards, and drawing only one of them is usually not impactful enough to stop stuff like Spiral and stuff like that. But when you can draw multiples of them on them, that's good. And then as long as you see this card, you can kill them. So that's the logic here. So all of these were really good today, except this card. I drew this card way too many times. I played a match where I drew it in all 3 games. I hate this card, but I love this card. This card is just too good. This is the best hand trap by far. It just stops so many combos, and it's just good against almost every deck you could play against. Even some of the control decks, you can find a good time to Gamma. Like even like Altercation, you can hit like Meluseek and stuff like that. Droll, only really good against Spiral. Sometimes good against like Invoke type of decks. This was really good against the Spiral decks. I don't really regret it at all. Ash, probably the weakest hand trap out of all of these, but when you combine it with the other ones, it's still pretty good. DD Crow, definitely really good. Really good against basically anything you could play against, like Dino or even Shadal Invoked, and especially Spiral. This card can sometimes just end their turn. Phantasme, probably one of the weaker ones.
You resolve this much still?
Not really, honestly. Even when I see it, I didn't get to drop it all that much. But it's still really good to like fix your hand and stuff like that. And it's just a body to help you attack with, because sometimes Aleister by itself can't kill your opponent, but just a little bit more damage is all you really need. And then Nibiru, obviously a really good card. Shit's all over like Spiral and the Shadal deck. The best part about this deck is that you're playing all these hand traps, and most people right now just don't expect you to be playing any hand traps. Like maybe like DD Crow or like some kind of main deck stuff. Like you're playing Salad, they're playing Ash and like stuff like that. But like they don't expect you to have like all of this.
Very impressive, dude.
So like most people just get caught off guard game 1, and then you just normal Aleister and kill them. It's just that easy. So, rest of the spells, Meltdown, obviously you have to play it. Searches Aleister. It's on summon thing. The protection thing doesn't really come up in this deck, but it dodges stuff like any type of like torrential or like whatever. Mystic Mind, one of the best cards in this entire deck. Yes, this card is insane with this card.
Still with this man.
Oh, tons of them.
Tons?
I did not deck anyone out with this card today, but this card is insane with this card because this is just Purgatrio. So if your opponent goes first and if you bail out of the negations, you just drop mine. You can wait until you draw Aleister, or if you have it right there, you just normally Aleister, make Purgatrio, and they're dead. Purgatrio just does so much damage, it's ridiculous, especially when you draw multiples of these. I played a few games today where I Purgatrio'd with triple Aleister, and that was just crazy because I just stalled until I just drew them because I knew I needed all 3 to kill my opponent. So just sometimes, it's cheesy, but most people just don't expect something like this to happen to them game 1. Game 2, it becomes a lot less impactful because now they're going to try to stop it. That's why usually, if I don't have to play it game 1, I don't. just so my opponent doesn't, it's not in their head. But if I do, I might cut down on it a little bit in the side because I know my opponent's going to try to put in like their cosmic stuff like that. So the extras of each of them. And then I also did play Metaverse 2. Metaverse was just insane because it's basically just end your opponent's turn, especially if they make you go first. Because I played against someone today where I bricked and I just set the Metaverse. He bricked, he was playing Mech Knight Invoked, he goes Instant Fusion for Raijin, summon Gizmek Kaku and just attack and then book his own Raijin. I didn't activate this because I wanted him to keep putting stuff on the board. I passed because my hand's just all hand traps. And he comes another Kaku, flips his Raijin, he's like, yeah man, sorry dude. Battlefield attack for game? Nah. And then I just waited until I drew. He didn't main any outs, so I just waited until I drew these, and then just Purgatrio killed him.
There you go, man.
Super easy. So triple Invocation. I play Desires, so you have to play 3. It's also a good card to draw because you don't really want to discard. If you don't really want to discard cards off Mad Aleister if you don't have to. Like you kind of just want to draw it already, and you also want to have it just in case Aleister gets ashed, because this is your whole deck. You can't rely on like Mech Knights or shit also like pick you up anymore. So you want to draw this alongside this just to make sure that your play goes through. Played 2 Mind Control, super good card, breaks boards super easily. You can take things like Appaloosa against like Spiral or their Trigate to force it out. Against almost anything, you can just link with Aleister to make anything and then just combo off. This card was just really, really good today. I played 2 Desires. I did play 1 game today where I banished all 3 Invocations off Desires. And I did win that, but only because my opponent bricked really hard too, which was really funny. But this card was just fantastic. The only card you really can't banish in this deck is like Driver if you see Gamma, but that's not the end of the world. Yeah. Gamma, after you start like playing, Gamma just becomes like Macabre fodder anyway, so it's fine. I only had 1 Lightning Storm, so I actually did draw this card quite a few times.
With the 1 copy?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It was good every time I drew it. Especially, it's funny because I always see it because when you're stalling with mine, you're going to draw this card eventually. They're setting all their back row thinking they're going to be safe.
Well, if they ever limit that card, you're ready, bro.
Yeah, bro, I'm ready. Yeah, I've been trying to get more, but no one wants to get rid of them. And then I did play this. I just wanted to main deck out to mine. Like, if they're trying to stall me, I want to have this, and this is just a good card in general. I just didn't know what to play, so I just figured this would be good, and I actually drew this card a lot too, and it was also really good.
Jeez. What's the main account, man?
40.
40, perfect 40 off.
Gotta draw this card to win.
Oh yeah.
So extra deck.
Yeah.
2 Macabre. Honestly, I should have played 3. This came up a lot today.
Really?
That came up a few times today. I played a few cards in my extra deck that I really just wish I didn't play. So I also could have played the Earth Invoked. That one's really good against Spiral, just ban stuff like Quick Fix. Because the thing is about this deck is that even though you're playing a Spiral, they're not even if they don't brick, they're not necessarily going to get to combo off all that much if you draw any decent amount of hand traps. So they're going to have like their combo pieces just waiting for the next turn. So Invocation becomes super important because you want to get the stuff out of their grave. Like, you want to make Raijin with their drones and like stuff like that, or banish their master plan or whatever they have. So having all the different attributes at your disposal is kind of really good. I also wanted to play Kakaitis for all of you guys, but good thing I didn't because I didn't play against any of them. So the only other invokes I played were 2 Purgatrio, Raijin, Kaliga. Kaliga didn't come up today. He's usually just there for link fodder anyway. You can't
more than one comes up for the
yes,
TK.
yes. You need to. This is like your win condition almost every game, so you have to make sure that you can win with it. And 2 did come up a few times. You just never know what your opponent has. Just because you think you just see game through the numbers on your board with this card doesn't mean you necessarily win. Raijin, just a super solid card. You can make it with Droll, Wendy, your opponent's Wendy, your opponent's drones, stuff like that. And the Book of Moon can just end Spiral's turn sometimes, stuff like that. And then Kaliga, just there to link up. I would have played I was gonna play Elysium today instead of this card, but I regret playing this card.
Hey, that card's nice.
It can be. My logic was like I wanted like good monsters I could like take with Mind Control to like make like good link monsters with, and also if my OTK fails, just something that can like help me get to another turn. But that just never happened, and I kind of wish this card was just another fusion. Bortle Sword.
Oh god, yes, Bortle Sword.
I only summoned him once today. This card is basically the Bortle Sword for this deck, but he's still a good card. Nightmares, just help you break boards, and you make them really easy with Cross Sheep. You just use Cross Sheep to revive a hand trap. You go into Unicorn, and then there's Phoenix too, just in case you want to pop a back row. Sometimes that happens, and it's a fire, just in case, because there's a lot of people also playing like Shadal, Invoked, and like stuff like that, and they're making Purgatrio with your fire. So you kind of just want to have stuff that's fire other than Ash and All Mirage. The Secure Garden to go with that, just in case you gotta go turn 1, and then Gravity Controller. I didn't make this at all today, but it's just a solid card. Out stuff like IP Avermax and like stuff like that. I would definitely still play it going forward. And Mad Aleister, this card comes up a lot more than when you're playing like the Shadal Invoke deck or the Mech 9 Invoke deck, because this is how you kind of OTK. Like typically, what you do is you're gonna be like what your playline is usually is if all you have is Aleister, you're gonna Aleister into like Purgatrio or Makaba using these two. You're gonna have Aleister in your hand. This is going to be on the board. If it stays, you can normal Aleister again. Add Invocation, you link them into Mad Aleister. You Invocation, make another Makaba, add this back, pitch it to buff it, make this game.
My goodness. Ridiculous.
It's really, it's really good because when your opponent's crippled because you're throwing all these hand traps or mine at them, stuff that seems really underwhelming is actually really strong. As long as your opponent doesn't stop you, you're good. So anyway, side deck, Pancrataps, just good card. I saw it quite a few times today, so I liked it. This is one of the cards that I cited when my opponent made me go first.
What?
This card was just really good. I drew this twice. I drew this against both my Spiral opponents, and they couldn't out it. It was just really good. Although I did get Lightning Storm once. That was sad, but. Oh,
that's what you get. No.
But like sometimes you can just if they don't have that, if you normal this, what are they gonna do? They can't.
Yes.
They can't. They have to draw like Foolish Burial or like stuff like that. Yeah, especially if they make you go first. Like they're expecting like there could be only one or Sanctum. Like if some of this, like they ain't doing nothing. This is the 15th card, just in case I play against like back row decks, but I didn't play against any of them.
I mean, anti-spell, all that stuff.
Yeah, I did also play for that, although I never drew it when they had it. That was really sad. One card that I never cited this today because I didn't play against like anything like Guru Altergeist or anything like that. But this card's really good in this deck particularly because if they make you go first or even if you're going second, it's better than Twin Twisters because you don't really want to discard cards in this deck because you just need the card. You just need every card that you can get because this deck doesn't get that much advantage, and you can play a slower game with this deck. It can definitely do it. Aleister is an insane grind card, so this card is just really solid in this deck. But I never drew it or cited it at all. Evenly, just a staple card, breaks boards. Against one of my Spiral opponents, I drew Storm and Evenly. So I baited. He had Savage Dragon plus Sleeper because I stopped him a little bit, but he was actually able to do that. I baited his stuff with Evenly and then just Lightning Stormed. So the Sleeper died because he didn't have Last Sword equipped, so it blew up his board. And all I had to do was Agent, and what is Agent gonna do? And last card was Sanctum. For when people make you go first, like ideally this is the stuff that you're siding in when they make you go first, when you think they're gonna make you go first. But it's really hard to tell. I kind of regret playing it like this, even though this did steal a couple games. I feel like there just could have been better going second cards, or cards that are good going first and second. Although this card can actually be good going first and second because if you break their board and just drop border, like that's just it.
Last second shoutouts, bro.
Kobe Short, even though he's mad at me still.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Avery Foster for having a cool deck for me to try out. This is mostly his deck. I just changed a couple cards.
Oh, that guy's nice.
Yeah, he is nice. And people at Lafayette Locals who exist.
Wow. Well, thank you again for showcasing your amazing top 8 pure Invoked deck profile. My goodness. Well, yeah, that's going to be it. Bortle out.